a small village, nestled between two misty mountains, there lived a boy named Luka. Luka was known for his quiet nature and his love for the stars. Every evening, after the chores were done, he would climb the highest hill and gaze up at the sky, mesmerized by the twinkling light above. One winter evening, as the villagers prepared for the annual Lantern Festival, Luka found himself feeling more alone than usual. His parents had passed away when he was very young, and though he was cared for by the village, he never quite felt like he belonged. The Lantern Festival was a time of celebrations, where families would make beautiful lanterns and release them into the sky, wishing for peace, love, and hope. But Luka had no family to share it with, and he couldn't afford a lantern of his own. As the festival approached, Luka went to the village square, where lanterns of all shapes and sizes were being sold. He admired them from a distance, but his heart sank as he realized he couldn't buy one. His clothes were old, and he had only a few coins to his name, which he needed for food and other necessities. That evening, as Luka sat at the edge of the square, watching others prepare for the festival, an old woman approached him. She was hunched over and had a kind smile that lit up her wrinkled face. "You seem deep in thought, my child," she said, sitting down beside him. Luka looked up, a bit startled. "I was just thinking about the lanterns," he said softly. "I don't have one of my own, so I'll be watching the others send their wishes into the sky. But I'll have none to send." The old woman nodded, her eyes twinkling with understanding. "It's true. The lanterns carry our wishes," she said. "But do you know that sometimes a wish can come from something even more powerful than light?" Luka furrowed his brow. "What do you mean?" The woman smiled gently. "I mean kindness. Sometimes, when we give kindness to others, it comes back to us in ways we can't even imagine." Luka was curious, but before he could ask more, the old woman handed him a small, unadorned lantern. It was plain and simple, with no decorations or intricate designs like the ones he had seen in the market. "This is for you," she said. "Take it, and when you release it into the sky, remember that the light you send out comes from the kindness in your heart." Luka hesitated, confused. "But why are you giving this to me? I don't even know you." The woman chuckled softly. "Kindness is a gift that we can give without expecting anything in return. Now go. And don't worry about the lantern being plain. It doesn't matter how it looks. It's the light you carry within that counts." That next evening, Luka returned to the square with the simple lantern in hand. As he placed it among the others, he noted that some of the most beautiful lanterns had been made with love, but also a sense of showing off. Many of them were extravagant and ornate. He also noticed that few people had no lantern at all. like him and were watching wistfully from the sidelines. Instead of focusing on his own wish, Luka decided to offer his lantern to a young girl nearby who was looking at the others longingly, her hands empty. Her family couldn't afford a lantern either. And Luka, remembering the old woman's words, decided to give the gift away. "Here," Luka said, handing the lantern to her. "I think your wish deserves to be sent to the sky, too." The girl's eyes widened in surprise and joy. "Are you sure?" Luka smiled softly. "Yes, it's just a lantern. The kindness is what matters." The girl's face lit up, and she ran to her family, her lantern held high. As Luka watched her, he felt something warm stir inside him, something that wasn't there before. The simple act of kindness had filled his heart with a light brighter than any lantern. As the night grew darker, the villagers released their lanterns into the sky, and Luka stood at the edge of the square, his heart full. He had no lantern of his own, but he didn't feel empty. In that moment, he realized that kindness, like light, had the power to fill the world in ways that no material object could. Later that evening, as Luka was walking home, the old woman appeared again, as if by magic. She smiled at him, her eyes warm with wisdom. "You see," she said, "the light you shared has already returned to you. Kindness is never wasted." Luka nodded, his heart full of gratitude. The stars above seemed to shine a little brighter that night, as if the entire sky was celebrating the power of kindness. And from that day on, Luka carried that lesson with him, sharing kindness whenever he could, knowing that the light he gave away would always return in unexpected and beautiful ways. The end.